Next, make and attach the decorations. Here, I'll explain each style separately. First, let's talk about the decorations for style 1. The decorations here include a light bulb, hands, facial expression piece, horns, wings, scepter, and tail. Make and attach them one by one. Also, you can adjust the position of each decoration according to your preference. First, attach the light bulb. Here, stuff an appropriate amount of fiberfill inside, then wrap the wire around the stuffing once, and then insert it into the main part. Take some fiberfill, fluff it up first. Then stuff it into the main part to check how much is needed. The exact amount is up to you. Stuffing too much will make the fabric stiff. Too little won't hold its shape. After stuffing with appropriate filling cotton, place this piece below the bulb, into the main part as well. Then check if the stuffing effect looks good. Once it fits properly, take out the stuffing cotton. Then unwrap the light wire and wrap it around the stuffing again. Just wrap it loosely, no need to be precise. Try to keep it on the outer side. Don't push it inside. Then stuff everything together into the main part. For the bottom piece, place the switch on the outside and insert it into the main part. Remove the paper from the switch area. Turn on the light to check the effect. If the effect isn't right, adjust the light wire again. Once it fits properly, use glue to securely attach the opening. Press it firmly here. That's how the bulb is assembled. Now make the hands. Begin crocheting. Here, I'm using cotton yarn for the demonstration. The chart starts with 3ch, which means beginning with a foundation chain. Chain 3. Next, the chart shows 2, meaning to start crocheting from the second to last stitch. Count from the left side of the hook. 1, 2. This is the second to last stitch. Pick up the back loop of the chain, which is the little raised segment on the back side. This corresponds to the back loop of the chain. Work a single crochet and half double crochet together. First, pick up the back loop of the left side chain. Make an incomplete single crochet. Then pick up the back loop of the next chain. Make an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Yarn over and draw through. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. Complete the single crochet and half double crochet together. Here use the original yarn. After finishing the chain stitch, you can faintly see the V-shaped loop, similar in texture to the single crochet stitch. There's a seam in the middle. Each side has a strand of yarn. When picking up the back loop, pick the wrong side. A small raised segment of yarn that sticks up. If you can't find the exact spot, just roughly pick one corresponding strand. Then continue crocheting. After completing, leave a 10 cm yarn tail and cut the yarn. This way, one hand is finished. Everyone make another hand using the same method. Sew them together after completing. Here, on the main part, just above this lace trim. Position it 3 rounds apart, 1 round above. Sew vertically. Leave a distance of 4 lace trims between the 2 hands. Now I'll demonstrate the sewing method downward. Here I'll use this swatch for demonstration. First, sew on one hand, thread the reserved yarn tail into the sewing needle, then find the corresponding position. Insert the hook and sew together. No specific method required, just make it secure. Tie a knot with the yarn tail on the wrong side. Then weave in the yarn tail, and knot into the fabric. You can weave in a few more stitches for extra security. After that, trim off the excess yarn end. One hand is now attached. Attach the other hand symmetrically. Complete this part on your own. That concludes the explanation for making the hands. Next, we'll make the facial expression. First, cut out the eyes. Here we use non-woven fabric. Follow the paper pattern. Cut directly. Complete this step on your own. Then attach them to the main part between the 2 hands. Position 4 single crochets apart from the main part's lace trim. Position the straighter side toward the upper diagonal. Space the two eyes 2 stitches apart. After positioning, take a look at the effect. Once it fits properly, glue them on. You can first apply a small amount of glue to check the effect. Then firmly glue them in place once the effect is satisfactory. That's how the eyes are attached. Next, embroider the mouth between the two eyes. Refer to the chart and take the corresponding yarn. Take a long tail, pull out one strand. Thread the needle. Insert the thread from any position. 2 stitches below the space between the eyes. Into the gap between rounds. Embroider 2 small horizontal lines. Leave a little yarn tail at the beginning. Here, embroider 1 small horizontal line twice. Then, below the right small horizontal line, embroider a triangle shape for the tooth. Above, embroider 2 more horizontal stitches to make the tooth and mouth close together. Then draw the thread out from any position. Here you can adjust the shape and size of the tooth as needed. Adjust the effect according to your preference. Once the effect is fit properly, bring the thread to the starting yarn tail position. Tie the 2 yarn tails with a knot. Hide the remaining strands into the main part. This completes the embroidery of the mouth. Next, embroider the blush. Take the corresponding yarn, cut a strand of yarn tail, then take out one strand. Thread the needle. Below, on the lower diagonal of each eye, embroider 2 small diagonal lines respectively. If you want the lines to be more visible, embroider 1-2 more times. Once the effect is fit properly, bring the thread back to the starting position, then secure the yarn. Hide the remaining yarn tails into the fabric. Everyone complete this part on your own. The blush is now embroidered. Finally, on the blush line, apply a bit of powder blush. Then above the right eye, skip 1 round, over 2 rounds at the top, embroider an X, meaning 2 diagonal lines crossing each other. Space the diagonal lines 1 stitch apart. Then secure the yarn ends. Hide the tails inside the main part. Now the expression is completely finished. Next, make the horns. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Separate the yarn into 2 strands. From now on, crochet using 2 strands. Start with a magic ring. All magic rings here are adjustable magic rings. Then make a beginning chain. Work 5 single crochets into the ring. Close the ring. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. For the remaining rounds, continue crocheting according to the chart. Remember to separate the strands as you crochet. Always crochet using 2 strands. Cut the yarn, leaving a 30 cm tail. Complete it yourself. Pay attention after finishing one corner. Make sure to turn the right side outwards. The side with the starting yarn tail is the wrong side. Then use the remaining 2 strands. Continue crocheting the other corner. Complete it yourself. Crocheting is done. Attach it to the main part. Place it on the 3rd round of the main part. Match the position above the hand. Occupy 2 rounds for sewing. First sew one corner. Thread the needle. Then pick up the edges of the main part and the corner. Roughly match and sew together. When there's still some distance left to sew, stuff a little scrap yarn or fiber fill inside. The opening here is small. You can use scissors to help. Continue sewing. Finally tie off and weave in the ends. One horn is now attached. Attach the other horn symmetrically. Everyone complete this part on your own. That concludes the explanation for making the horns. Next, make the wings. Use non-woven fabric to cut according to the paper pattern. After completing, attach them around the top of the hand, with a distance of 2 stitches apart behind the hand. Glue it securely in place. Everyone complete this part on your own. Now make the scepter. Pick up a thin wire. Leave about 2 centimeters of length below. Then bend the wire above to form a 0.5 centimeter height. Press the bent thin wire flat. Then bend another 0.7 centimeter height on top. Merge the bottom ends together. Trim off the excess thin wire. Finally, tidy up the bent thin wire. Starting downward, wrap the yarn around the thin wire. Refer to the chart and pick the corresponding yarn. Cut a long yarn tail. Then separate one strand from the yarn. Apply a small amount of glue to the lower edge. Leave part of the tail and start wrapping at the bottom. Wrap it evenly and tightly. Trim off the remaining tail at the bottom. Then continue wrapping upwards. Wrap tightly at the join section. Then wrap yarn around the 3 protruding thin wires separately. Apply a bit of glue to the edges. Trim off the remaining tails. Pick up the remaining strand again. Wrap yarn in the remaining areas. Add a few extra wraps at the crossing point underneath. To cover the thin wire. Then adjust the curve slightly. Now the scepter is complete. Then place it in front of the left hand on the right side. Attach securely. Now the scepter is complete. Next, make the tail. Made up of a heart and thin wire. First, crochet the heart. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Here you can cut a long yarn tail. Then separate into 2 strands to crochet. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Then work 2 single crochets. Two chain stitches. 2 single crochets. One chain stitch. 1 slip stitch. After completing, close the ring. Then leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. Then tie the beginning and ending tails together to secure. After that, make another heart using the same method. You can also use the remaining 2 strands from earlier separating to crochet. After completing, set it aside for now. Then take the thin wire, cut a 5 cm length, then wrap yarn around it using the staff wrapping method. Complete this step on your own. Then place the 2 hearts together with wrong sides facing. Match the shapes accordingly. Trim the remaining yarn tails, and place them on the back side. You can use glue to secure the tails to the back first. Then glue the 2 hearts together. Place one end of the thin wire at the center. Then take the other end of the thin wire. Insert it into the back center of the main part. At the single crochet position 3 rounds away from the lace trim. Apply a bit of glue here before inserting. After completing, if it's not secure enough, you can add a bit more glue at the insertion point. Then bend the middle part of the thin wire into a loop. Then you can apply a bit of glue to the thin wire and the main part to secure the tail in place. This completes the tail. And that finishes the decoration for style 1. Next, we'll explain the decoration for style 2. It includes the face, facial expression, hands, hat and hanging string. Make them in order, one by one. Let's start by making the face. Here I'm using cotton yarn for the demonstration. Begin with a chain stitch. Work 4 chain stitches. Then starting from the second stitch from your hook, pick up one strand on the top of the chain. Work 1 single crochet into each stitch correspondingly. 1/2 double crochet. Next, the chart shows a W, which means work 3 single crochets in one stitch. Work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. Then crochet into the other side of the chain, which is also the insertion point for the stitches on this side. Starting from the chain on the left side of the 3 single crochets, pick up the other 2 strands of the chain. Work 1/2 double crochet. One single crochet increase. Finally join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Move on to crochet round 2. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Then pick up stitches, and work single crochet increases correspondingly one by one. Finally join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. No need to pull tight, then leave a 30 cm yarn tail and cut the yarn. The leftover yarn from the beginning can be trimmed off. This completes the crocheting of the face. Do not attach it for now. Proceed to make the expression below. Start by embroidering the mouth. Refer to the chart and take the corresponding color yarn. Take a long tail, then remove one strand. Thread the needle. Place the face horizontally, front side facing you. Pick the centered insertion point of one stitch, and the centered position of the stitch below. Embroider a vertical line segment. Embroider approximately the width of one chain stitch. Start by leaving a little yarn tail. Once the effect is suitable, tie a knot with the yarn tail on the wrong side. Trim the remaining strands. Now the mouth is finished embroidering. Next, on both sides of the mouth, embroider blush in symmetrical positions. Refer to the chart and take the corresponding yarn. Take a piece of yarn tail, remove one strand, then centered on the mouth. Right side. 1 stitch in from the edge. Vertically embroider for 5 stitches. Start by leaving a little yarn tail. After completing, on the symmetrical position, embroider the other side of the blush. When done, tie off with the starting yarn tail. Everyone complete this part on your own. Next, cut out the eyes according to the pattern, then attach them symmetrically above the mouth, aligning with the blush position. Place them vertically here. Everyone complete this part on your own. This way, the facial expression is made. Finally, attach the face to the main part, above any 2 lace trims on the main part, 1 round apart from the lace trim. Sew horizontally. You can also use glue to attach it. I'll demonstrate sewing. After completing, thread the yarn through the fabric. Then tie a knot and weave in the end between the edge and main part. Everyone complete this on your own. This way, attaching the face is done. Next, make the hands. The crocheting method is identical to the hand of style 1. After finishing crocheting, place them on both sides of the face, with an interval of 2-3 stitches. Sew vertically at the position of 1 round. Here, leave 3 rounds between it and the lace trim below. Pay attention to keep the position symmetrical. Everyone complete this on your own. That concludes the explanation for making the hands. Next, make the hat. It consists of the hat body and the flame tip. First, crochet the hat body. Start with a magic ring. Crochet in rounds. No new stitch techniques or methods appear. Just follow the chart for crocheting. Pay attention, on the 7th round, work into the front loop of the stitch. After completing, cut the yarn and weave in the ends, then roll the outer side of the hat body inward, to achieve this effect. That concludes the explanation for making the hat body. Once finished, make the small flames. There are 4 in total. The method is the same for all. Start crocheting. Here, also split into 2 strands for crocheting. Then make an adjustable magic ring. Make 1 beginning chain to start. Correspondingly make 2 single crochets. 1 chain. That is, insert the hook into the front loop of this last stitch. Here the front loop is behind. Pick up the raised horizontal bar, and crochet a slip stitch. Then pick up the stitch and crochet a slip stitch. Then work 1 chain. Into the back loop of the chain, work 1 slip stitch. Pick up the stitch and work a slip stitch. 1 chain. Pick up the front loop and work a slip stitch. Two single crochets. Close the ring. Finally, join with a slip stitch into the first stitch. Do not tighten. Cut the yarn. Tie a knot at the beginning and ending yarn tails, then secure with glue to the wrong side. Everyone complete this part on your own. This way, 1 small flame is crocheted. Follow the same method. Complete crocheting the remaining small flames. After completing, embroider the flame details. Take the corresponding yarn. Take a long tail. Pull out 1 strand. Thread the needle. Then at the bottom of the small flame, the chain formed by the slip stitch. Sew to the 3 raised points above. Stitch 3-4 times in one direction. After completing, tie a knot on the wrong side, then trim and leave it on the back. This way, the flame is embroidered. Everyone follow the same method. Embroider flames onto the remaining small flames. Pay attention, the right side of the flame should face you while embroidering. Then attach the flames to the hat body. Here, use thin wire for the connection. First, cut a 6 cm piece of thin wire. Then fold it in half. After that, refer to the chart and use the corresponding color. Take one strand to wrap the thin wire. Complete this part on your own. Once done, pick up 2 small flames. Position them with the right side facing out. Match the shapes accordingly. Then insert one end of the thin wire into the middle. Secure it in place with glue. After that, take the remaining thin wire. Insert it into the rolled part of the hat body and glue to secure. Glue the excess along the rolled section. Once completed, attach a flame on the opposite symmetrical side. The method is the same. Complete this part on your own. The hat will have this final look. After making the hat, don't attach it yet. Next, crochet the hanging string. Pick up the corresponding yarn. Leave a tail. Start with a foundation chain. Then work 32 chain stitches. Now we can put together and check. Fold the chain in half. Then match it with the length of the main part. Just make it slightly longer than the main part. You can also adjust the length according to your preference. Add or skip a few stitches. Finally, leave a tail. Pull the yarn through. Then thread one end of the yarn tail into a darning needle. From the wrong side of the hat. Pick up near the stitch. Weave through a few strands. Tie both yarn tails together to secure. Hide the remaining yarn tail into the fabric. The hanging loop is now made. Finally, pass the hanging loop through the center of the starting chain of the main part. Use a crochet hook here. Insert the hook into the center of the starting chain from inside the main part. Pull the hanging loop through. The hanging loop is now attached. That concludes the explanation for decoration style 2. Now let's make the decoration for style 3. It consists of hands, facial expression, pumpkin wand, hat, hanging loop, pumpkin pendant. Start by making the hands. The crocheting method is the same as the previous hands. After completing, place them symmetrically on both sides of the main part. Space them 3 rounds of single crochets away from the lace trim. Leave a distance of 4 lace trims between the 2 hands. Sew vertically into the upper round. Everyone complete this part on your own. Next, make the facial expression. Use yarn to embroider. Start by embroidering the eyes. Refer to the chart and take the corresponding yarn. Take a long tail. Take one strand and thread it into the sewing needle. Then find the space between the two hands at the position 4 rounds away from the lace trim. In the upper round, find 2 stitches that are relatively centered. Then on both sides of these 2 stitches, embroider 2 diagonal lines outward. Leave a little yarn tail at the start. Then on the opposite side, embroider 2 symmetrical diagonal lines. Finally, tie off the yarn tail on the wrong side. You can bring the ending yarn tail next to the starting yarn tail first. Remaining yarn tails can be trimmed or hidden into the fabric. The eyes are now embroidered. Next, embroider the mouth. Use the corresponding yarn. Take a strand of yarn tail, pull one strand through a thin needle. Use a pointed needle for sewing here. Go down to find the area below the mouth, at the centered position. Embroider the mouth and tongue. Refer to the finished product for effect. You can adjust it as needed. First, shape the mouth and tongue. Loop a small circle at the top. Check the effect. Once it looks good, from the crossing point of the small loop, thread through the middle of the yarn and insert into the fabric. Then embroider line segments at the position of the small loop on top. Fill in the small loop completely. After the effect is satisfactory, bring the yarn to the starting tail. Tie a knot to secure it slightly. Do not cut the yarn tail yet. Continue embroidering the blush below and diagonally from the eyes. Embroider 2 diagonal lines for the blush. On the other side, carry the yarn over to embroider. Once the effect is good, bring the yarn to the previous yarn tail position, then tie a knot. Simply hide the remaining tail into the fabric. Everyone complete this part on your own. Finally, on the embroidered blush area, apply a bit of powder blush. That completes the expression. Next, make the pumpkin wand. First, make the small pumpkin, divide it into the body, stem, handle and eyes. First, crochet the body of the pumpkin, pick up the corresponding yarn. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Here, all magic rings are single adjustable rings. Then make 3 beginning chains as turning chain. Following the chart, next is to crochet a DC2 puff, bobble stitch using treble crochets. First, make 2 incomplete treble crochets. Wrap the yarn around the hook twice. Insert the hook into the magic ring loop, yarn over and pull through. Then yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops. Repeat twice. Once. Twice. 2 loops remain on the hook. This is an incomplete treble crochet. In the same position, make another incomplete treble crochet. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the TR2 tog in 1. Chain 1. Continue crocheting the stitch pattern within the curly brackets. Start with a treble crochet 3 together in 1. First, work 3 incomplete treble crochets. Finally, yarn over and draw through all loops at once. Complete the DC3 together in 1. Then chain 1. One group of the pattern within the curly brackets is completed. Continue to crochet 4 more groups. Finish the last group, close the ring. Then hook into the top chain from the turning chains. Start a chain stitch on the right side of this bobble stitch. Insert the hook and pull up a loop, then finish with a slip stitch. Finally, leave a 20 cm tail and cut the yarn. If you want the fabric to be more firmly stuffed, you can stuff a little fiberfill or scrap yarn inside. Later you'll need to close the opening. Thread the needle with the yarn end. Pick up the stitches going down. Front loop of the stitch. That is, the frontmost strand. And the front strand of the chain. Insert the hook into each one in order. Then pull tight the yarn tail. Tie a knot with the adjacent position to secure it. This completes the closing. Here, simply hide the yarn tail inside the fabric. This completes the body of the melon. Next, crochet the stem. Take the corresponding yarn, then separate the strands. Here, take 2 strands to crochet. Start with a magic ring. Then work 5 single crochets. Close the ring. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. The stem is now crocheted. Next, crochet the stalk downward. Use the remaining 2 strands from the stem. Start with a foundation chain. Chain 3. Then work from the second stitch from your hook. Pick up the back loop and work 2 slip stitches. Finally, secure with a chain stitch. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off yarn. Now the stalk is finished. Next, assemble. First, thread the beginning and ending tails of the stalk through the center of the stem. Make sure the right side of the stem faces out. Then tie a knot to secure the stalk's yarn tail with the starting yarn tail of the stem. Trim the remaining strands and place them on the wrong side. Next, take the reserved yarn from the stem. Attach it to one end of the melon body, where you closed up the opening. Then tie a knot and hide it inside. After that, glue on the eyes at the front of the melon body. Position the side with the beginning chain stitch of the melon body to the back. Then attach the eyes centered and facing forward. Before gluing, you can remove the backing from the adhesive on the eyes. Then apply a bit of glue to secure them in place. Everyone complete this step on your own. That's it, your little pumpkin is done. Next, take the thin wire. Cut a 5 cm piece, then fold it in half. After that, use the corresponding yarn. Take a long tail and pull out one strand. Wrap it around. Once completed, apply a small amount of glue to one end of the thin wire. Insert it into the center of the pumpkin's starting magic ring. And that's how the pumpkin scepter is made. Then position it with the side that has eyes facing forward. Attach it to the left hand position on the front side of the main part. Glue it securely in place. Everyone complete this step on your own. That concludes the explanation for the pumpkin scepter. Next, let's move on to the hat. Take the corresponding yarn. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Make one beginning chain to start. Work 3 single crochets. Then close the ring. Join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. The stitch count here is low. The fabric will curve inward. After completing the slip stitch, pull tight slightly. Then turn the right side of the fabric outward. The side with the yarn tail for starting chain is the inside of the fabric. From now on, crochet accordingly on the right side of the fabric. Pay attention, on the 5th round, pick up the front loop of the stitch to crochet. Everyone refer to the chart and finish the remaining crocheting. After completing, leave a 30 cm yarn tail. Simply place the starting yarn tail inside. This completes the explanation for crocheting the hat. After crocheting is finished, proceed with attaching. Position it at the top right of the main part. Make sure the right side of the main part is facing you, located 3 rounds apart from the hand. Then use the reserved yarn. Pick up along the edge and sew together. No specific method required. Just make it secure and neat. Everyone complete this step on your own. This finishes the explanation for making the hat. Now proceed to make the hanging string. Take the corresponding yarn. Start with a foundation chain. Then work 15 chain stitches. Leave a little yarn and cut the yarn. Then thread the lobster clasp onto the yarn. Align the beginning and ending ends. Then take the main part. Thread both yarn tails from the chain start and end into the center of the starting chain. Insert through the corresponding position on the hat. Then pull one of the strands out through an adjacent stitch. You can use a crochet hook to pull it through. Then tie the 2 yarn tails together with a knot. Weave the remaining ends into the fabric to hide them. This completes the hanging loop. Finally, make the pumpkin pendants. There are 3 in total. The method for making these pumpkins is the same as the small pumpkin, only the body and stem need to be crocheted here. After completing, attach the stem to the body. Everyone can finish this part on their own. Then attach the hanging loop. Take the yarn from the crocheted stem, cut about 10 centimeters long. Then tie a few knots at one end. Make the knot a bit larger here. Thread the other end of the yarn into a darning needle. Then insert from inside the body. Come out through the center of the stem. Give it a gentle pull to check if it's secure. Once stable, pick up the main part. Secure it at the center of the main part. Pick approximately the position of the first round. Draw through the yarn. Now you can check the length. The hanging string here should be longest at the center. Refer to the finished product for the effect. You can also adjust it yourself. Once it fits properly, tie a knot on the yarn tail. Hide the remaining yarn tails inside the main part. Crochet the yarn tails of the body into the inside. If they're too long, trim them shorter before hiding. Then, using the same method, on both sides of this pumpkin, attach pumpkins respectively. The hanging strings are of different lengths. Arrange them at staggered levels. Then tie a knot to secure. Everyone complete this part on your own. With this, the pumpkin pendant making is completed. At the same time, the decoration for style 3 is completed. Up to this point, the entire set's making process is finished. If there are any unclear parts during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family. Supporting your handwork experience. Sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.